Alrighty folks, for these videos I wanted to do are going to be on security. And as I'm saying, for security, it is going to be internal and external. These are things that used to be best practice, standard practice, things that people used to follow all the time whenever you did any kind of a setup, installation, new build. These were things you looked at. These may not be necessarily an IT professional's area. It may be involving other departments, other agencies, such as a surveillance. Surveillance is crucially important, especially nowadays. Want to start out with a little disclaimer on here that some people may get offended, some people may get upset, some people may get annoyed by some of the things that I say. But these are important to be said because this is all learning and training experiences that are real world scenarios that are going on that may happen or could happen, or other things that are out there that people don't think of on a normal daily basis that could happen. So, want to declare this. Don't get upset. This is educational. This is training. Want to make sure that you understand and you see the things that are going on out there on TV. Black Lives Matter, storming of the Capitol, how this can affect you in a business and how this can affect you at home. The world's kind of changed a lot. It's changing a whole lot. There's a lot of craziness going on. There's a whole lot of legal ramifications also that I will touch on. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal aid. There's a lot more that goes involved in some of these incidents and deals that goes on, like storming the Capitol. There's a whole legal issue other than technology issue. Not to mention all of the technology issues, if they find things or you find things as a business or whatever, they turn into a legal situation. So that is part of this video, is to let you guys realize there are ramifications for this stuff. There are certain things you should really look at to protect yourself, to protect the business and the IT company or whoever you are working for. If you're a home individual, there's some of this stuff that you may want to pay attention to. Security-wise is really, really a tough issue. It's not something you can sum up in 5 or 6 videos. These 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever I end up doing might be multiple videos per subject, per 20-minute blocks or whatever I'm going to do them in, so that it doesn't get overwhelming, that you can watch one section like all the other ones. I don't want them too long in one setting because you can only retain so much information. And you may need to go back and watch one video more than you watch another video. Some of this is going to be pretty much self-explanatory. You may know some of it. There may be some that you think you know, that you're doing, but you're not doing. You may think, oh, I got a virus scan in there, I'm covered for everything. No, that's a virus scan. These are going to be broken down into multiple subjects and multiple videos due to how complex this really is. This isn't something that you can just go out and download one piece of software and you're good. No. Depending on the situation you're at and what you're doing, there's a lot of factors that come into this. And I know when I was in school years and years ago, they touched on some of this, but they did not really teach it. They did not say, okay, this is a good scenario, this is a bad scenario, this is an acceptable scenario, all of this type of stuff. When you got into some of your training courses and you got into certain things, they would tell you, this is the best way to do it, this is the best practice, this is what should be done, and boop, they moved on. They did not go into too much detail. And this is really where I don't know if they're still teaching any of this. I think this is something where you are supposed to go out and find this information. And where do you find this information? How do you know what this information is? Where do you find accurate places for this? Like I said, there might be some things that come up. This is educational. Pay attention. Just watch it. Because I will probably have to key off of some of current day events that have been taking place. Because back when I was in school, I would never have thought of some of these crazy scenarios that are actually taking place. There is stuff going on out there that is just shocking to me. That, wow, I'm sure they had a scenario for this written down and a procedure for this written down somewhere, but how do you implement it? These are things that really could affect you, especially in a business, that how do you know know your data is secure? Want to touch on the scenario of this Capitol riot. Imagine it's not the Capitol. Imagine it's your business. All these people got into your business. You there or not there? The Black Lives Matter, whatever else, riots and other things that have happened. What if these people got into your business? Is your data secure? Is your network secure? Are your devices secure? Are they there? Are you missing laptops? Are you missing terminals? Are you missing monitors? Nowadays, people are going into these things just to steal monitors. Because maybe they need a better gaming monitor at home. Prices and stuff have gone up on so much of this equipment that you don't know why someone's doing what they're doing. That's a whole nother category of the security, that you don't know why or what they're doing. Things that I've seen in the news, like break-ins and robberies and all of this stuff. Always, being an IT person, I always have that question of, what else did they do? Companies out there that secure your data, that monitor your data to make sure somebody's not stealing your identity. These companies have been out there for a while. There was just a new thing from, I won't name a name, but a certain phone company manufacturer, making sure you do updates because of breaches and all the other possible things that might happen. It starts to question a lot of things in my mind on what is the true motive of some people. You have the dark web, all of this stuff that goes on out there. This isn't new. This has been going on for a long, long time. That is really why it's pushing me to do these videos over what I've been doing. I've been doing parts and, simple little things. I have quite a few videos I still want to do, but I wanted to address this and get this out there even for a home user, because that's really one of the concerns I have, is to let you know as a home user. It's like if you have a break-in and let's say they go in and steal your jewelry and your money, but they leave your laptop and they leave other stuff. Like they brought up on TV about the Capitol break-in. Is your data secure? Is your components actually secured? Did someone actually do something to those? Now, if you follow a lot of the best practices on logins, with making sure you have a password, that will default some of that. But there are certain things, USB drives that they can put in your router, they can do a lot of little weird things out there nowadays that really, I wanted to put this out there because if you're a home user, you're not into security, you're not into doing stuff, you're online just doing your simple banking and you're just doing some stuff, and that was fine. But now, in 2021, with everything going online, everything, people working from home, all this craziness, all this advertisements and craziness I'm seeing. Oh, just get a VPN, you'll be secure. No. A VPN is a point-to-point secure connection. Unless you're VPNing directly into your bank, that your bank will never let you do, you are not secure. I know this is going to offend people, but this is just something that I hear it and it just like, I'm like, don't tell people things like that. Not right. And I know there's other people out there trying to get the word out there the same, and I know I don't have a whole lot of followers. I do see I got a lot of people watching, but hopefully this will help someone. Even if I'm long and gone and dead for 1,000 years, hopefully this video will help someone. This is why I'm doing I'm doing this. I want people to be aware of these factors. Because if we're having these factors now, what problems will we be having in 20 years, 50 years? The technology has moved so fast and so many things going on and so many malicious, vicious things out there, and every day more and more and more are being created. A lot of this stuff used to be really well known out there. If you followed computers, you knew a lot of things that were going on because it was what computers were. This is what everybody was doing. This is what everybody was into. Now it's kind of become more of a shell game. We'll move this over here, we'll move that over here, and we'll shuffle things around, blah, 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 and we'll show you this and we'll show you that out of this and that. But there's a lot of things going on. If you look at these hackers, you look at a lot of these people that were caught doing things over the years, where did they end up? After they served their jail time or they got whatever, most of them end up with security companies or working for the government or trying to educate people on the little things they found. And it's really amazing because if you listen to some of these guys and they talk about what they actually did, a lot of it was very little. Very, very little to get a lot. And I'm like, wow, that's all he did? He just used this port and it was open? Wow, okay. The key point of that is you now know to block that port. A lot of these companies and Windows and other operating systems, Linux and all of that, learn from these guys and close those ports automatically by default. So there's a lot of things that go on in the background that is security. And security is a whole broad category. Now, you may have heard me just mention they close ports. There's also software, a firewall that you put in your computer. That's what a firewall's for. It's supposed to secure all incoming, outgoing connections through your ports and terminals and virtual ports and STP and all this other stuff. That's what the firewall is for. Before I mentioned virus scan, those are two different things. Now, if you think you're covered by having firewall and virus scan, you're wrong. There is also ransomware. I'm sure everybody's seen it. It was, I don't know, a few years back, schools, everybody else got hit by this thing that says, pay in bitcoins and we'll unlock your files. Ransomware. You have Trojan horses. You have keystroke captures. Trojan horses do multiple things. They can install things, they can take data, they can be set so that they capture certain things that you're doing. Maybe they just want to see what you're going out on the internet for. And everything else in your computer it ignores. Maybe it's capturing everything in your computer. There's also like key capture stuff that actually pays attention to your keyboard and knows what keys you actually push. There are so many crazy pieces of software out there. And the one that really kind of shocked me a lot, it's been known for a long time, is people that get into your computer and turn on your webcam. That is quite a shocking development. They sit there and watch you and hear you talk and know what you're talking about. And, you know, if you're on your computer and you're talking to yourself as you type in your password, they hear you talk and, oh, I need to go to the bank and I need to pay this and click, 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 click. And they hear you talking. They get your info. So there's a lot of vulnerabilities out there. A lot. And I'm sure there's more I haven't mentioned. These are just the ones I can think of offhand. This is not all scripted. It's not all written down. Sometimes I might have a few keynotes that I want to cover, but it's not scripted because I can sit there and write up a whole long thing, blah, 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 and post it, but then you have to read it. And then you're going to start following along and realize, oh shit, this thing's like 30 pages. I don't want to read all this. I'll just kind of skim through it. Well, once you skim through it, you're kind of missing the point of me writing that. So that's why there's not a lot of details on there. This is educational videos. I want people to watch these videos. I want people to acknowledge that you've watched these videos, that you understand. If you have a question, put a question on there. Because this may be a factor that either a term, misinterpretation, maybe you just have heard it somewhere and you're curious and you want to know what it is. You know, there's a lot of things out there. A lot of things. Especially as a home user, there's a lot of things you really need to look at when you do things. Just like going back to the scenario of the Capitol riot. There's video out there of when they got in there. They're looking through the documents that were left on a desk. Don't know what those documents were. But as as a business or a home individual, that should kind of generate on you. Because I know when I leave my work location, I always try to make sure it's locked. I have no real paperwork out that has anything that someone can come in and go through and go, oh, let me see. Oh, that's kind of handy to know. Try to keep all that stuff put away. Secure in a drawer. Locked. That's one thing I really see a lot of that people don't do anymore is they don't lock anything. It's kind of surprising. I know most laptop bags come with the little tab with the little hole on it where you can put the lock through so that someone can't get in it. I know they're kind of annoying and kind of a pain in the butt, but if you're a business person and you're traveling, you're going to seminars, going to trainings. I've seen stuff in trainings. I've seen people pick up stuff and walk out of training rooms with it. I'm like, why? Who thought it? What in the world? It's like, hello? Nobody thought that's the wrong thing to do? What can I tell you? Except for, that's why I'm doing these videos. There is so much more to security than a simple password. So hopefully I'll get a bunch of videos out here, hopefully soon, on basics on security. And not just put in your virus scan, put in your firewall. Windows actually has that integrated.